Eventually all roads do lead to Rome. You have to visit here at least once in your life, although frankly 1,000 visits wouldn't do this city justice. Rome has been the centre of politics, religion, culture, art. It's been the powerhouse of the civilised world for over 2,000 years, and you can't turn a street corner here without being confronted by some artistic wonder, some marvel that you couldn't possibly have imagined before you arrived here. It's the only city in which you'll have a local describe a 13th century church as new. And nothing's changed much since the days of the Roman emperors or the Renaissance. This is still the greatest city on earth, and it's filled with popes and beggars and nuns and tourists and pickpockets and presidents. It's totally impossible to try and even scratch the surface in a single visit. Instead, you should take your time. You should enjoy the endless sights to see, the endless marvels of the city. You should stroll the narrow alleyways in the historic centre. You should eat an ice cream. You should just relax and soak up the atmosphere. Rome can be divided into pretty distinct areas, each one containing a vast amount of things to see and do. The historic centre of Rome, the Centro Storico, is thankfully pretty compact, but it's easy to get lost in its twisting maze of streets. It's here that you'll find some of the major sites like the Spanish Steps, the Trevi Fountain and the Pantheon. It's bordered to the west by the River Tiber and to the east by the parklands of the Villa Borghese. Beyond Piazza Venezia to the south is the ancient heart of Rome. It's here that you'll find the Capitoline Hill, the Roman Forum and the Colosseum. And in this area you'll also find the Palatine Hill and Emperor Nero's Palace. On the west bank of the River Tiber is St. Peter's in the Vatican City. Technically it's a separate state, although there's nothing really to indicate crossing an international boundary, except perhaps a sudden increase in the number of nuns. If you're visiting the churches in Rome, then you should dress modestly, particularly in the Vatican City. If you're wearing shorts or a short skirt or have bare shoulders, then you probably won't be allowed in. But if you really want to blend in, though, you need to buy a pair of sunglasses, and the bigger the better. And you should wear them at all times, even if it's the middle of the night and you can't see where you're going. And men as well should experiment with facial hair, because that's what the Romans do. Some sort of goatee would be ideal. Choosing 5 or 6 unmissable sites in Rome is firstly very difficult and also means leaving hundreds of other unmissable sites out. But the Pantheon is definitely a building that you can't miss when you're in Rome. It lies right at the historic heart of the city and is perhaps the best preserved ancient Roman building in the world. It was built just over 2,000 years ago by Marcus Agrippa as a temple dedicated to the planetary gods. And it was subsequently rebuilt about 120 years after that by Emperor Hadrian, and that's the building that you see today. The impact of the interior is absolutely staggering. Above there's a massive vaulted masonry ceiling, the largest masonry vault in the world. And all around there's precious marbles decorating the floor and the ceilings. The interior is absolutely cavernous. The height of the building matches the diameter at just over 40 metres. And the sound within creates this kind of rumbling, echoing noise. You can still see, if you look carefully, the pins and brackets that held the marble in place. But all that's gone. Also's gone the gilded bronze ceiling, which was taken in the 17th century and melted down to make the canopy above the main altar in St. Peter's. The sound of water kind of gives this place away. The Trevi Fountain is one of Rome's most famous sights. It seems to occupy the whole side of a building. A spectacular white high Baroque fountain designed by Nicola Salvi in the 18th century. It's a particularly romantic setting, just me, the fountain and a few hundred tourists who are all crowding round it. It really is probably a place where you want to try and come here when it's not so busy. That's either late in the evening or very early in the morning. Now, let me see if I can find that change. You need 3 coins for this. Right then, here we go. I've got my 3 coins. I hope the Trevi fountain takes sterling. Right, now you have to stand facing away from the fountain and chuck these coins over your shoulder. Right, here goes the first one. Hang on. It's difficult to miss. The first coin means that you will return to Rome, so it's a sound investment. The second coin means you'll fall in love with Italian. I'm sure a coin isn't really required for that, but and the third one is for charity.